Now we're going to answer it tomorrow. Allison will remind me. Obviously, it's the end of the 9 weeks, so you know what eventually is to come. I hope you've been writing down the learning targets and everything. Yep. Okay. I think I'm going to do it different than usual, but we'll get to that another day. It is definitely not today or tomorrow. I can promise you that much. Okay, so we did adding and subtracting, and besides little tiny meticulous mistakes, stop working on your checkpoint if that's you. Besides little tiny meticulous mistakes, we've all got that down pretty well. It's not a big deal. So we're going to move on to multiplying, and today we're only going to do binomials. How many terms does a binomial have? Two. Okay, so there are 3 kinds of binomials. That's why we have 3 different folds. We could either have a plus sign, so they're being added together, both terms, a minus sign with both terms, or a plus and a minus. Okay, so flip over into your flap. I'm only working one example of each. When it says find the product, we're actually going to do, so what does squared mean? How many are there? 2. So I'm actually going to be doing 3x plus 4 and then another 3x plus 4 because it's squared. In fact, if I was going ahead, I could go ahead and fill in the second flap. It's a squared, so it's going to be 5m minus n and another 5m minus n. And if it was cubed, there would be a third one of these. Since it's squared, there's 2. If it was cubed, there would be 3. Okay. So stay in those words. I've been trying to talk to you about this kind of thing for forever because I thought I don't know why I thought you already knew how to, I think you know how to do everything and you don't, and it's fine. So I'm going to use this acronym and we're probably going to have to spend more time on it, but it's called FOIL. And if you want to write that at the top, I would. Yes, like tinfoil. FOIL. F-O-I-L. So you know how PEMDAS has helped you out in life? When you get confused, you ask yourself, like parentheses, exponents, you ask yourself questions. FOIL is another little acronym that helps me when I'm multiplying 2 binomials. It helps me keep track because you know how to distribute. And we've done one like this before, but I have to make sure the 4 is distributed to both terms. And I have to make sure the 3 is distributed to both terms. So that's why we came up with this acronym, to make sure we can't mess anything up. The F, so I'm actually going to doodle over here. FOIL. The F is for first.
Wait, so we can write it bigger over there?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. The F is for first. Any guesses on what the L is for?
Last.
Yeah. So F and L make sense. And you would say, Miss Compton, what is the first? So if we have 2 things, and I'm just putting 2 little empty space things with some parentheses, the first would literally be the first ones. The very first one here, so I'm going to put stuff in like 3x minus 4, 3x plus 2. First meaning the first 2 guys go together. We multiply. First literally means first. And then eventually I'm going to get to the last, and last is literally going to mean last. So the last 2 guys, meaning the back guy here and the back guy here, are going to get multiplied together. So we've just got to talk about the O and the I. So we do first, we do, any ideas for the O?
Over.
Here's outer.
And inner.
Yeah. Now, I'm old school and I've always heard first, outer, inner, last. FOILs, first, outer, inner, last. But if you don't like outer and inner, you think that's like old school English, you can do outside, first, outside, inside, last. But yet again, Miss, you got me. I'm sorry. And I've always been first, outer, inner, last. But first, outside, inside, last is still FOIL. So we did, you understand first means the first two guys are going together. Last means the last two guys are going together. And outside and inside are exactly what you think. Outside means the two guys on the outside. We will multiply them together. And inside mean the two guys on the inside are multiplied together. And now it just looks like Miss Cumden drew a bunch of random rainbows in random places, which is why we need to work a couple examples to see what this really looks like. Okay, so I'm going to try to do a better job. And I'm going to have 4 colors, 1 for each letter, because first, outer, inner, last. That's 4 colors. If you want to keep your life colorful like me, that's fine. If not, whatever. Okay, so for first, I'm going to do black. I'm going to multiply the two first terms together. When I multiply 3x times 3x, what do I get? 9x what?
Squared.
9x squared. Because I'm going to have x to the first times x to the first. You add those exponents. I did the first. This was from the first. Now I've got to do the outside. So who am I going to multiply together? Who is the outside? 4 and 4 are outside? Who's outside?
Oh.
The 3x and the 4 are on the outside. It's outer. So I'll do 3x times 4x, and what is that? 3x times 4, and what is that?
12x.
Okay, so I'm going to get, is it plus or minus?
Plus.
So I'm going to put a plus 12x. And that's the outside or outer, whatever floats your boat. Outer might have 2 T's. You might want to put outside if you're getting all Englishy on me. So I did the F, the O, now I'm to the I. I've got to do the inside. Who is on the inside?
4 and 3x.
4 and 3x. What is 4 times 3? Oh, it's 12x again. Interesting. Interesting.
Then you can combine like terms.
We're going to. You're thinking ahead. Good for you. Okay, we did first, outer, inner, and before she jumps the gun, let's do last. 4 times what? Who are the last guys? 4 and 4. The last one from this term being 4. The last one from this term being 4. So 4 times 4, which is 16. Okay, and then Natalia has noticed something, and this is always going to happen when you have this kind of a problem with a plus inside. This is always going to happen. We're going to combine some like terms. She's right. I've got more work to do, and I'm out of room, so I'm going to have to do it over here. I can combine 12x and 12x. What would I get?
Wait, you keep combining.
I can't. What was it? Okay.
24. There's also
Who else
9x squared.
can go with who?
4x squared.
4x squared. Where's the 4x squared?
No. 24. Okay. Because
4 squared is 16. Mic drop? Okay.
okay.
Okay, so she was right with 9x squared doesn't have a friend. 24x and then plus 16. All I did was combine the outer and the inner. So, yes.
When you add the 12x,
12x plus 12x and I got 24?
you want to add the exponents?
No. No. Remember, we only add exponents when we're multiplying. Okay, so let's say it all again. We did first. That was the first, guys. Outside, literally they're on the outside. Inside, and then last. Now, if you don't like this FOIL technology or term or whatever technology, this term, all I'm really doing is distributing. I'm distributing this guy to both of them, this guy to both of them. But if you don't like the term and you just want to think about distributing, that's what I'm really doing. But we call it foiling. And Natalia noticed something before she got off on her little side branch. She noticed that these two things combined, the outer and the inner combined to make 24x. That's always going to happen when we have a plus b squared, like that front flap says. As long as they have the same signs, you're going to end up combining those middle terms. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Still going to FOIL. So I've got to do the first.
5m and 5m.
Ty says 5m times 5m. What will I get?
25m.
25m squared. Perfect. So I did the first. Now to do the outer. So what am I going to multiply?
5m and negative.
So what do I end up getting?
Negative 5mn.
Negative 5mn. And yes, that is it. So I did my first. I did my outer, and I've still got to do my inner and my last. My inner, who am I going to multiply for the inner?
And negative n and 5n.
And what do you end up getting? Again. No, notice you got it again. And the reason that is because of this type, a minus b squared. We're going to end up combining like terms again on the middle. But since it started out being a negative, the middle term is going to be a negative term. Okay. And then what am I going to get for the last?
And then
Positive.
Okay, negative n times negative n is what I'm going to multiply. And you're going ahead and jumping the gun. What am I going to get when I multiply? Positive
N squared.
n squared, because it's n to the first, you add your exponents, you get n squared. Okay. Are there any issues with this? Everyone good with the first, outer, inner, last? And Lord knows they made it more complicated by having more variables, but we're still fine. Okay, and then Ty's wanting to jump the gun. What am I going to do next? I am going to combine like terms. So I'm going to end up having in the middle a negative n. Yes, a negative 10 mn. So my answer is going to be 25 m squared minus 10 mn plus n squared. The outer and the inner terms, those middle terms, will always combine if it's the first type of example or the second type of example. Notice on the first type of example with the pluses, it ended up being a positive middle term. Notice on the second example with the minuses, the a minus b squared, it ended up being a negative inner term, and that is not a coincidence. Okay, so we have one little flap left. And if you were to guess what's going to happen in the middle this time, what do you think is going to happen? It is. Since one's plus and one's minus, the outer and the inner are going to end up canceling out.
So it's 0.
It's going to be 0 for that, but we're still going to have the first and the last to deal with. Let's look at what she's saying. So let's flip over in the last lap. What is the first? X and? Okay, so my first, I get what? X squared. Okay, and then for my outer, I multiply what times what?
X and negative 3y.
X and negative 3y, and I get negative 3xy. Agreed. And then for my inner, who do I multiply?
3y and x.
3y and x, so what do you end up getting?
3xy.
Positive or negative?
Positive.
Okay, and this is what Natalia had guessed, and it is what's going to happen. These two, a negative 3xy and a positive 3xy, are going to end up canceling out. Let's finish it out, though. What is the last?
3y and positive 3y and negative 3y.
And you get
Negative.
negative 9 what?
Squared.
Y squared, yes. Because y times y, we're going to add our exponents of 1, so we get y squared. Okay. Yes, dear. You wanted to ask me something? No, you just wanted to move your hair. Okay. What happens?
The negative 3y, negative 3xy, positive 3xy cancel
Okay.
out.
They do cancel out, but Natalia was asking me if the answer is 0. Is the answer 0?
No.
No.
X squared minus 9y squared.
Yes. Okay, so again, the reason this happened is because, looking at the outside flap, the inner term ended up being doubled and positive because it was a plus b squared. The inner term ended up being doubled and negative because it was a minus b squared. And then on the last one, since they were opposite signs, the inner terms ended up canceling out. And no, that is not a coincidence. That really does happen in math class all the time. Okay, I'm going to give you this. Do you have to color in my class?
No.
Don't I just give you bonuses if you color? Okay. Here's another one. We'll say it's not due till the end of the class tomorrow, so do you absolutely have to do it for homework? No. Did I give you things? Did I give you enough things?
Yes.
Are you sure? I think there were 2 separate pages, weren't they?
Yeah.
Okay. You need to. You need to.
I need
You
to
need
know.
to. You need both.
Both.
Both. Why am I doing this? Kaylee, give everybody 2 pages so I can get back to my checkbook. Thank you.
And I'm going to put them out on just. Oh, Lord.
tends to be 5 points.
Bob.
Yeah. So like 25 out of 20. Yana, there's still issues with B. A is completely right. There's still issues with
I
B.
think I know what I did. Because I
Okay.
second guessed myself.
John Dale. Come here.
I only put
Can we put some of these? No, not yet. I'll do that. There are there's a sign issue on B, and then the degree and the leading coefficient of the final answer.
Sometimes
Hannah, come here. Okay. Gavin.
if I want to go to like.
I just came to be, I was really hot because I played basketball.
Natalie. There's a sign issue on me. There's something wrong with me. What are you doing? I don't like that.
I didn't do anything.
Hi. Why is it the same thing for all of y'all? The degree and the leading coefficient of your final answer, and there's a sign arrow. No, the final answer. Josh Roberts. There's still a sign error on the. Yes. If you've been giving back your checkpoint, that's what I need you to for sure fix for homework. That to me is more important than the other thing. Let's make sure we got adding, subtracting down perfect.
Yes.
Allison, you're done. There's still a sign issue on A.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, I think it's more, it's for our church.
Wait, you have to ask them.
Right,
I was like, yeah.
Travis, there's a teeny tiny thing in the middle of B. Otherwise, it is perfect. Tiana. It's still not quite right. Yeah, you can take it with you.
I feel like I know exactly what I'm doing wrong, but at the same time, I'm trying to
Why not present?
It's for Cyrus.
Just for, actually for.
She's trying to pick up that ball.
Hi, Miss Thompson. How are you today?
Go home.
Oh,